All right, guys, so today we're going to spend all day on our third factoring strategy. So it's called the box method, and we can actually use the box method for two different situations, and we're only going to look at one today. But that is how to factor quadratic trinomials. All right. So what is a trinomial? Something with three terms in it.
Yeah.
And what's quadratic?
4.
You would think so,
Actually,
but no.
It's where it has the power of
The highest power is
2.
The highest power is a 2. So let me give you, you don't have to write this, but here's an example of a quadratic trinomial. Okay. Now factoring these is what we're going to be focusing on today, is how to factor these, and we're going to use the box method. Okay? So that's the goal. You don't have to write this once again, but I do see a few of you guys writing it. Not necessary, but I'll leave it up in case you are. It's not a big deal. And I hear somebody's music. If you could take her down a notch for us. And make sure you give me at least one ear. You do need to hear the lesson. All right. Let's proceed. All right, now you don't need to write this item, okay? But I just want to review this with you guys. So step 1 here is to make a box, right? You put the 5x plus 1 along top, x minus 3 down the side, and then you start filling in things. So 5x and x makes 5x squared. 1 times x makes x. 5 times negative 3 makes negative 15, and then 1 and negative 3 makes that. And then we take it out, right? And then we combine our like terms together. Okay? So that's old, that's multiplication. What we're doing today is we're working backwards. We're working backwards. So let me show you what I mean by that. We're going to start with the answer. We're going to start with the answer. But we're still going to use our box. Now, what we found is that the first number here and the last number in our box, they were always here and here. So when we're working backwards today, we're going to take our first number, we're going to put it in the top left. We're going to take our last number and put it in the bottom right. And at this point, it becomes a game of guessing and checking, and it's kind of irritating. So you kind of need to be on your game a little bit with your multiplication skills and your addition skills with these polynomials, because you're going to be guessing and checking. So we have to find two numbers that would multiply to make 5x squared. Really, there's only one option there, 5x and x. Then we would want to find two numbers that multiply to make negative 3. And then this is where you can see if your answer is right, if you complete the box. So let's see. The x and the 1 make 1x. The negative 3 and the 5x makes that. If these two things here in the diagonal combine to make the middle, then you've done a good choice. If they don't, then you've got to try some different guesses. So what kind of guesses could there be? We're going to go through this. That's why I said you guys didn't need to write this. We're going to have plenty of examples today. But, maybe the 3 was supposed to go here and the 1 was supposed to go here. That's one thing. You're just switching where they're located. Or sometimes you'll have numbers where there's a bunch of ways to make it. Like there's really only one way to get 3, 1 times 3. But what if we had something there like 12? Well, it could be 6 and 2, or it could be 3 and 4. So you have to try guesses until you get these numbers adding up to make the middle. And once you found them, then your answer would be what you factored into. So we're working backwards, okay? So I'm going quick through that. My intention was not that you would master it here, obviously, just to expose you to what we're going to do, and then we're going to take it slower. So here's the steps, okay? So step 1, fill in the box. You put your first term here and your last term here. There's that, right? There's our polynomial at the top, our quadratic trinomial. You put your first term in the top left, your last term in the bottom right. So fill that in. Step 2, find two numbers that multiply to make the first number. Step 3, find two numbers that multiply together to make that bottom number there. Step 4, complete the inside box. And then step 5, check to see if these numbers, the diagonal ones, add up to make the middle. If they do, we win and we're done. If they don't, we have to try some different guesses. And so the different guesses are maybe switching the numbers around. So instead of having the 3 here and the 1 here, you can swap them. Okay? Don't give up on the 3 and 1 too quickly. Just move their places first. But if that fails, then you just need to try some completely different numbers if possible. What else makes that number, right? So I know this is a lot to take in, but I just wanted to go through the steps with you before we actually do one, okay? But that'll be there for you guys to look at for every problem we do today. So why is this a little bit challenging? Well, first of all, there's a lot of steps. Second of all, you have to be good with your multiplication and addition. If you have trouble with your multiplication and addition, subtraction, and stuff like that, it'll make it more challenging. The third reason is it requires a lot of perseverance because you go through all these steps and your first guess fails. So you got to try another one and try another one. So there's a couple things that make these challenging. One is a lot of steps. 2, multiplication and addition. 3, perseverance. But we're going to focus on just this all day today. So let's begin here. So here's example 1, and let's begin. So I'm going to start by making a box. Now this I do want you guys to start writing with me. I do want you to start writing with me at this time. You're texting yourself into an F back there. Get with us. This is hard stuff. You're going to be lost. This is very important too, by the way. We're going to use this repeatedly throughout the year, so you want to make sure you get it now. This is one of those really important topics. It comes up again and again and again. So you want to make sure you know how to do these things. All right, so the first thing that we do is we put our first term in the top left box. Okay? The next thing we do is we put our last term in the bottom right box. All right, so that's step 1. Step 2, look at your notes. What does step 2 say? Read. You don't have to read it out loud, but just look at it to yourself. Yeah, that's good. Find 2 numbers, right? We're looking for 2 numbers that multiply to make this top number here. Now, just so you guys know, the x's are always going to get split up evenly. So, see how this is an x squared? Well, you're always going to have an x here and an x here. We just need to figure out what the numbers are. So what times what makes 3? 1 times 3. Now, I don't know if the 1 goes here, the 3 goes here, but we'll find out. Usually, we don't have to mess with those guesses too much. It's the second guess that we have to mess around with. But there we go. So that's a good guess. And that's an easier one because really there's only one possibility. So I know it's got to be 1x and 3x. So that's nice when there's no other possibilities. Makes it easier. Let's take a look at 10. Now, with 10, there's 2 possibilities, right? We could do 1 times 10, or we could do 2 times 5. And usually it's the less extreme numbers. So by extreme, I mean like 1 and 10. We have a really small one and a really big one. Okay? Let's go with the more moderate numbers, 2 and 5. Those are better. Okay, so now I don't know where they go. 2 here, 5 here. And what else do I know about the 2 and 5? One of them is supposed to be negative, right? Now I don't know which one it is. I don't like to guess which one's negative yet. I'll show you how I handle that. But for now, I'm just going to put 2 and 5. Okay? I'm just going to put 2 and 5. All right, now let's fill in our box. Okay, so just so you guys know, I just did step 3. Look at step 3 on your paper. Step 3 is to find these numbers, right? I should have been letting you guys look at the steps. So step 3 is to find those pairs. All right, now look at step 4. Step 4 says complete your box, right? So what goes here then? 6x goes here. And what goes here? 5x. Now, this is where we move on to step 5, and step 5 is the one where you think, man, I hope I get it right, because I don't want to do this anymore. I want to move on. So what we do in step 5, read it really quick, just to kind of familiarize yourself with the steps. says, check to see if those boxes add up to make the middle term. Okay, so in other words, do these two add up to make the middle? Well, let me rephrase it. Can they make a -1 somehow? They can if one of them's negative, right? Because right now 5 and 6 makes 11. We don't want 11. We want -1. That can work. So one of them has to be negative. So do you think it would be 6 minus 5 or 5 minus 6?
6 minus 5.
6 minus 5 equals what? 1. I want -1.
5 minus
5 minus 6. So that means the 6 is the -1. Now if the negative's here, which one do you think is negative, the 3 or the 2? I'm sorry, the 5 or the 2? So see, that I like to do the sign at the end, because that way I can kind of pick the one I want to make the negative. If you pick one in advance, you might just have it in the wrong spot. But anyway, there it is. So, so do these add up to make the middle? Then I win. I'm done. I didn't have to do any guessing. That's unfortunate, because I want you guys to see some guessing, because it doesn't always come out right on the first guess. Yeah. Good question. How do we write the answer? I didn't put that on the steps. The answer is this and this. So I've got x minus 2 and 3x plus 5. So let's put a box around it. We're done. We unfactored it, or sorry, we unmultiplied it. So I got lucky. I didn't have to do another guess. Let's try a guided practice. So, can I clear? Anybody got a problem with that? We're good? Okay. So we're gonna, oh, I had steps on there. Oh well. Guided practice time. All right. So I want you guys to do step 1, and then I'm going to ask you what you got. So do step 1, please. Mm-hmm. You know the X? Yeah, you can use the X. All right, so I'm going to ask Armani, what do I do now?
You put 2x squared in the first box. And then you put 12 on the bottom right.
Awesome, thank you. All right, go ahead and do step 2 for me. Go ahead and do step 2 for me. All right, so what do you think? Natalie, you got an answer for me yet? Okay, so step 2 is we're looking for two numbers that multiply to make 2x squared. Want to take a crack at it? It is 1x and 2x. So like I said, the x's are always going to get split up evenly. And then what makes 2? Well, you really only have one option. It's 1 times 2. So we got that. Now, 12. For this one, I'm gonna say, hopefully, is anybody here not using a pencil? We're all using pencils today? Because there's guessing and checking that we have to do, which means that our first guess may be wrong, and so you need to be able to erase it. So for this next part, I'm going to say start writing lightly with a pencil, because chances are we're going to have to erase it. Okay? But before I have you guys do step 3, I'm gonna have someone tell me what to do on step 3. So, Cal, what do I do on step 3? So we want to find the factors of 12. So I'll let you pick. Okay, so Cal has chosen 6 and 2, and I'm gonna go with his number since we're doing this as a class, so we're gonna use the same thing. So he chose 6 and 2. Now, Cal, where do you want to put them? What do you want to put here? 6 or 2? Okay. All right, now let's do, so now that we all agree on those numbers, go ahead and do step 3. I'll call on you in a second. Or I think step 4. Are we on 4 now? Yeah. Step 4. Do step 4 and I'll call on you in a second. All right. Sophia, what do we do on step 4? Oh, okay. Okay, that's okay. I'll hold off on you there because we're gonna do it together. But let's see, Jedrick, what is step 4? What would I do on step 4? We fill in the empty boxes. So what would go here, Jedrick? 12x, and what would go here? 2x. Okay. So I want you guys to do step 5 now, and I'll call on you to tell me what you did there. So do step 5. Okay. I'm going to ask Sharmani, what is step 5? So we want to see if the 2x and 12x do what? They should either add or subtract to make what number? 11. So let me ask you, does 12 plus 2 make 11? Does 12 minus 2 make 11? Does 2 minus 12 make 11? So what does that mean? It means our guess failed, and that's unfortunate. And this is why we want to write lightly with a pencil. So I'm going to backtrack. I'm going to erase all these. Now, I don't want to give up on the 6 and 2 right away. I want to give them another chance. But here's what I'm going to do this time. I'm going to reverse them. Okay? So I'm going to put the 6 down here and the 2 here. Now, you guys don't have to write it this time because I'll work it out, but I just want you guys to get a feel for that process. So, but I want you guys to understand that if it doesn't work the first time, don't give up on those numbers right away. Switch them first. Okay? If that fails, then we're done with the 6 and 2, and we're going to move on to a different pair. So let me see. 4x and 6x. You guys don't have to write this because I already know it's not going to work. But 6 plus 4 does not make 11, and neither does 6 minus 4. All right, so 2 and 6 are done. So I'm going to give up on those. Now, before I leave these completely, I want to tell you guys a little trick. Here's how I knew from the beginning. If you're ready for some information on this, those of you guys who are already kind of, I remember this. I got this a little bit. I've got some information to help you be quicker with this. You ready? But for those of you guys who are kind of like, I have no idea, I'm barely getting this. This might be overwhelming for you, so don't worry about it. But if you're ready for a little information, I'll help you. I already knew that this could not work. And here's how I knew it could not work. Can 6 and 2 have anything in common that could divide out of both of them?
2.
then that means that 6 cannot go there. I'll tell you why in a minute. But also, if I put the 2 here, do they have anything in common? 2 can't go there. So 6 can't go there, and neither can 2, which means that 6 and 2 are out. Now, why is that? Do you guys see a GCF up here?
No.
There shouldn't be a GCF on anything over here either then. Does that make sense? So you should not have GCFs in your rows or columns there. And if you do, that's not a good guess. So whenever Cal said, when Cal said 6 and 2, my brain immediately went, okay, 6 and 2. Well, okay, I know the 2 doesn't go here. So that means the 6 goes, oh, no, 6 can't go there. So I would have stopped right away and be like, I'm done with 6 and 2. So if you can handle that, then go ahead. But yeah.
Will there never be a GCF, or is it only when there's not a GCF?
Good question. Yeah, so if these have a GCF up here, we would have already taken care of that. Now, we're not doing that today.
Oh.
But we will get to problems where you have to take out a GCF and then do the box. So by the time you get to the box, there should never be GCFs in those areas. All right, so that was a lot of extra information, but I want to, let's regroup. Cal picked 6 and 2. I didn't give up on them. I switched them, but that failed. I'm moving on to a different pair. So what's another pair I can pick? All right, so I'm going to let you pick. What do you want to put here? Oh, actually, let me ask you. You only have one option. Why does the 4 have to go here? That's right. If you put 4 here, they have something in common, don't they? So I know that if we go with 4 and 3, that can't go there. Now, once again, if that's overwhelming to you guys, don't worry about it. Just put them there and work it out. You'll see it doesn't work, and then switch them. But let's see if this works. Let's fill in our box. 8x and 3x. Does that make 11? It does. We're home. So complete your box there. Now you guys can write it nice and dark because we're done. We have our answer. All right, so I'm going to ask Aaliyah, what's my final answer then?
X plus 4.
Uh-huh.
2x plus 3.
And we're done. Now, maybe one of you guys out there wrote 2x plus 3 first and then x plus 4. That's okay, because multiplication is commutative. The order doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which way you put those. All right, so I'm going to ask some questions of you on the spot. Vidal, I'm doing my box method. And I've got some numbers here, 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 and here. And I find out it doesn't work. Like, let's say I put 7 here and 2 here. That doesn't work. What do I do first? You switch them first. So let's say I go ahead and switch them, and it still doesn't work. Now what do I do? Get completely different numbers. And then, how do we know if they work? The diagonals should add up to make the middle. Okay? If they don't, that tells you need to switch. So, there you guys go. We're going to work on these 3 problems, I think, for, what's this? Why is that there? I wonder why I put that there. I guess I figured maybe you guys, if you needed another practice, so we'll skip that. But you guys are working on this for the rest of the class, and that's it. That's all we're doing today. So if you, maybe we'll see, because I just find that these tend to be challenging for people, so I wanted to give you guys a long time to practice them. Okay. So go ahead and work on these 3 problems. That's your classwork for the day. I'll just kind of come around and see if there's anything I can do to help, and we'll be good to go. If you do finish early, homework is online, and you can knock your homework out early.
It wasn't. I literally know it wasn't. No, that is not. That is. No, you're not.
All right, I'm going to come around and check notes while you guys are working on these. For number 1, this is what I'm seeing with a lot of people. You guys are seeing, okay, m squared goes here, 16 goes here. And You only have one possibility to get m squared, it's m and m. And most of you guys started with what guess for 16? 4 and 4. Now this gets us really close. Now I'm going to give you another hint. Maybe worthy of writing down on your notes. Ready? So if you fill it in, what does this make? That makes a positive 8m. But what do I want? Okay, here's a really cool hint. It works every time. If you get the right answer but with the wrong sign, then that means you need to change both signs. So let me give you an example. Here, I have the right number, 8m, but it's the wrong sign. The fix is boom and boom. Problem solved. Because now both of these are negative. This is still positive because a negative times a negative makes a positive. And now these add up to make a negative 8. So something worthy of being written down is if you get the right number but the wrong sign, change both signs. I'll say it again. If you get the right number but the wrong sign, change both signs. And that works every time. Every time. So if you get the right number but the wrong sign, change both signs.
So it's basically n squared. I mean, and take away 4 squared.
Yep. There you go.